Have you ever felt like you are not living your own life? It can feel like you are just following a script that someone else wrote for you. This script might have been written by your parents, teachers, friends, or even by society in general. Deep down, you might feel that something is simply not right. You wake up each day wearing the same mask. You do your duties and talk to people as if everything in your life is perfectly fine and normal. But when you are alone and it's quiet, a difficult question comes to your mind. You start to wonder, who am I really? It's an unsettling thought. Carl Jung, a famous psychologist, believed this feeling of being disconnected is a real symptom. It points to a very deep problem that many people are afraid to face. Most people live their whole lives without ever knowing their true, authentic selves. They live by playing social roles and meeting the expectations that others have set for them. The worst part is that they believe this is all there is to life. They pass away without ever getting to truly know their own inner soul. Now, you should ask yourself a very important question. Is this currently happening to you? Is the person you call yourself the real you, deep down inside? Think about your personality, your desires, and all of your beliefs. How much of that is truly from you, and how much was put there by other people? Since we were children, we have been taught how to fit in with others. We learned how to become acceptable and to hide parts of ourselves to be loved. We create a special mask to wear in front of others. Carl Jung called this mask the persona. It is a social disguise that we use to protect ourselves. But the more that we continue to wear this mask, the farther we move away from our true, authentic selves. This can become a very serious problem for us. Eventually, a day may come when this mask is all that is left. The real you gets lost underneath the disguise that you have been wearing for so long. Jung warned that living disconnected from your true self comes with a price. This cost is paid with feelings of anguish, dissatisfaction, and a sense of incompleteness. Have you ever felt an emptiness, no matter what you accomplish in life? It's as if something very important is always just beyond what you can reach. This feeling happens because what you truly need is not outside of you. It is not found in a better job, a perfect relationship, or in others' approval. The thing that you are looking for is actually inside of you. It is just buried underneath many layers of conditioning that you have received throughout your life. The most important question is whether you are willing to dive deep into your own mind. Are you prepared to discover who you really are underneath it all? This journey of self-discovery is not an easy one to take. Finding your true self means you have to confront everything that you have repressed or forgotten. It means looking inside and facing parts of yourself that you might prefer to ignore. But this is the only path that can truly set you free. In this journey, we will explore what Carl Jung called individuation. This is the process of becoming whole by integrating all the different parts of your inner self. Since you were a child, you learned to behave in certain ways to be accepted. For instance, you were probably taught that it is important to be polite. You might have been told not to speak too loudly or show your anger. You may have learned that your job was to please other people around you. Or perhaps you were taught that you always had to be strong. You learned to hide your weaknesses and to look confident even when you are feeling scared. Without even realizing it, you started to build an identity. This identity was not just yours, but a reflection of what the world wanted you to be. Carl Jung gave this mask a name, the persona. It is the public face that you show to the world, the version of you built to fit in. And you should not be fooled into thinking you are alone in this. Every single one of us has a persona that we use in our daily social lives. If you have ever acted differently at your job, at home, or with friends, you have used your persona. You see this on social media platforms as well. Is having a persona useful? Yes, it certainly is. Without it, we would not be able to function or relate to other people in our social world. But there is a great danger that you should be aware of. The danger comes when you start to believe that this mask is who you really are. When you identify too much with your persona, you begin to forget who you are. The real you, the authentic you, starts to fade away from your consciousness. Just take a moment to think about this. How many times have you said or done something simply because you wanted to be accepted by other people around you? How many times have you hidden your true thoughts and feelings? You might have done this because you were afraid of being judged by other people for them. How many times have you put on a smile for the world? All the while, on the inside, you might have felt like you just wanted to scream out. This happens because your persona stopped being just a simple role you play. It started to take over your entire existence, controlling how you act and feel. You are no longer being your authentic self in those moments. Instead, you have become a character who is just playing a role that you did not choose. And this is where the main problem is. The persona cannot truly sustain your soul. It can bring you acceptance from others, but it cannot bring you fulfillment. Your persona can get you compliments from other people. However, it can never provide you with a sense of genuine or lasting happiness in your own life. In the long run, living only through your persona leads to an empty life. You will feel that something essential is missing, but you won't know what. And what is even worse is that the more you cling to this mask, the further you will drift away from your true, authentic, and essential inner self. But if the persona is not who you truly are, then who are you? To answer this very important question, we need to look at the other side. We must look at the part of you that has been repressed. This is the part that has been pushed down deep into your own unconscious mind over time. Jung gave a name to this hidden part of ourselves. He called this part the shadow. This is where the real search for your true self must begin. The persona is the mask you wear to be accepted by everyone. The shadow, on the other hand, is everything you hide to avoid being rejected by them. But here is the problem you must understand. Whatever you choose to repress does not simply go away. It is not erased from your mind or your being. In fact, it actually gains more strength in your unconscious mind. It operates in the dark, influencing your emotions, your fears, and the choices you make. Carl Jung described the shadow as the hidden side of our psyche. It is made up of all the things that have been repressed throughout our entire lives. This can include desires that were forbidden. It can also include anger that you have held inside, or weaknesses that you do not want to ever admit. Many things that are in your shadow are not actually bad at all. They are just parts of you that someone at some point told you were unacceptable. For example, maybe as a child you were very curious, but you were called inconvenient, so you learned it was better to just stay quiet all the time. Or perhaps you felt the need to express your anger, but you were taught that feeling angry was wrong, so now you just swallow all of your frustrations. Maybe you showed that you were a sensitive person, but society convinced you that showing your sensitivity was a sign of weakness, so you learned to hide it. All of these parts of you that were denied did not disappear. They just went into hiding inside your shadow, waiting for a chance to finally emerge again. And these hidden parts do emerge from time to time. If you have ever had an angry outburst and then regretted it, that was your shadow at work. If you have ever felt envy towards another person, you might have tried to deny that feeling. This is another way that your shadow can take control. When we do not deal with our shadow in a conscious way, it shows up in distorted forms. It can sabotage our relationships, our careers, and our self-esteem. But here is a truth that most people will not tell you. Your shadow is not your enemy. In fact, it is the opposite of an enemy. Your shadow is where many of your most valuable traits are hidden. Your creativity, your authenticity, and your true, real strength can all be found there. You cannot become a whole person until you integrate this hidden part of yourself. To do that, you need to stop running away and start looking inside. The self, or your true self, exists beyond the layers of the persona and the shadow. It is the complete totality of your entire psyche, all combined. It is the harmonious fusion of who you truly are on the inside and who you show to the world on the outside. This is your most authentic state. Jung believed the purpose of life was to become whole. He thought we should discover our true essence and then live a life that is according to it. This process of self-discovery and integration is what he called individuation. It is a journey to find and embrace your complete and authentic self. But finding your true self does not just happen by chance. It is not something that will simply appear in front of you one day like a magical revelation. The self only reveals itself to those who are willing to face the truth. You must be prepared to confront the truth about who you really are. You need to actively search for your true self. This quest requires a very deep and personal journey into your own inner world, which can be quite challenging. The biggest obstacle to finding your true self is fear. You might fear losing the identity that you have built for yourself over so many years of life. This fear is what causes many people to never find their true selves. They spend their entire lives clinging tightly to the persona they have carefully created. When you start to integrate your shadow and question your masks, something incredible begins to happen. You start to feel a new kind of freedom you've never felt. You will soon discover that you no longer need to pretend to be someone that you are not. You can finally let go of that heavy burden. You will also realize that you do not need to please everyone. You can start making decisions that make sense for you, not just to meet others' expectations. The closer you get to your true self, the more your life will begin to make sense. The anxieties and frustrations that you felt will start to disappear. But there is an important detail to remember on this path. The journey to finding your true self cannot be walked all by yourself in total isolation. To find your true self, you must dive into your unconscious mind. This is where the hidden patterns that shape your identity are actually found. Beyond your repressed memories and your secret desires, there is something even more fundamental. Carl Jung called these fundamental structures archetypes, and they are very powerful. Jung discovered that the human mind is not a blank slate at birth. We are all born with universal mental structures that are shared by all people. He called this the collective unconscious. And it is from this shared unconscious that the archetypes emerge. These are primordial images that influence how we see the world. For example, the hero is an archetype that is present in almost all cultures. The hero is the one who faces challenges and seeks great personal transformation. There is also the archetype of the wise one. This archetype is a symbol of knowledge and deep introspection. The rebel is another common archetype who challenges rules. The interesting part is that you do not choose which archetypes influence you. They operate inside of you without you even being aware of their strong presence. A problem will arise if you only identify with one archetype. For instance, if you only see yourself as the hero, you may struggle to accept your weaknesses. Finding your true self means you need to balance these archetypes. You must recognize which ones are dominating your life and integrate the ones you have neglected. These archetypes often appear in your dreams and in your impulses. They can also be seen in the patterns that repeat over and over in your life. If you do not become aware of these powerful archetypes, they will control you. They will determine your behaviors, your insecurities, and all of your relationships. But if you are able to recognize and integrate them, you take control. You become the author of your own narrative instead of being a passive character. What happens to someone who runs away from their true self? Carl Jung was very clear that avoiding this process does not keep us safe from any harm. Instead, it condemns us to a fragmented life. This life will be filled with anxiety, frustration, and a deep emptiness that can never be truly filled. Many people believe that just following society's rules will guarantee them a peaceful life. But this feeling of tranquility is only on the surface and is not real. Not following the path of individuation can also lead to destructive patterns. This is why some people repeat the same mistakes over and over throughout their entire lives. Another common symptom is the feeling that we are merely existing. It can feel like we are not truly living a full and meaningful life at all. This is the sad reality for millions of people. They have never stopped to question if the life they are living is the life they actually chose. When a person ignores who they really are, they inevitably feel resentment and anger. But they might not know where this deep anger is coming from. But you should know that there is a way out of this situation. There is a way to break this cycle and to free yourself from this invisible prison. The answer can be found in having the courage to face the truth. It requires questioning your own illusions and actively seeking the path of individuation. Finding your true self is not really a final destination. Instead, you should see it as a process that will last for your entire lifetime. It is a path of discoveries, deconstruction, and reconstruction. It involves facing your own shadows and freeing yourself from all of the masks you have been wearing. But this is a path that very few people will actually choose to walk. Most people prefer the safety and comfort that comes with simple conformity to social norms. Jung showed us that true freedom is not found in fitting in. It is found in becoming the person that we were always meant to be, deep down. This path requires a great deal of courage from you. You need the courage to let go of illusions and to face all of your deepest fears. So I will ask you one final question. Are you ready for this challenge? Are you willing to finally live your life according to your true, authentic essence?